Alexis,
Good to go.
It's like someone has to say go, right? Isn't that how that works? Good morning, everyone. Bon matin tout le monde et bienvenue. I want to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin people who have cared for this land for millennia. Now, it's such a pleasure to be with you, with all of my colleagues here today. I would list them all, but I'd probably forget one of them, and then I would be in tremendous trouble if I did that. My name is Chris D'Entremont. I'm the Member of Parliament for Acadianapolis in Nova Scotia. And in my role, I proudly represent the Canadian Armed Force members stationed at CFB Greenwood and the largest air base in Eastern Canada. And so I have a deep appreciation for what Uplands means to the Canadian Capital Region and, of course, to the Canadian Armed Forces and to our country. You know, every time that I visit Greenwood and every time I talk to the people in uniform there, I hear the common theme: infrastructure, in particular, housing. I hear about how important it is to have modern and accessible housing for our members as well as their families. That's why today's announcement is so important. Compétents, courageux et professionnels. Les femmes et les hommes qui forment les forces armées canadiennes sont les meilleurs au monde dans leur domaine. Nous leur sommes profondément reconnaissants pour leur service. Et nous sommes fermement résolus à fournir aux membres des forces armées canadiennes et à leurs familles tous ceux qui ont besoin pour réaliser le travail essentiel que nous leur demandons d'accomplir. We know that investing in Canada's defense has huge benefits for our communities like this one, and of course the one back home in Greenwood. It benefits our economy, it is our industries, and our workers. And for those reasons, I'm very honored to join my colleagues here today to take part in today's event, and I'm pleased to introduce our Minister of National Defense, David McGuinty.
Thank you very much, Chris. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour à tous. Welcome to our hood. This is CFB Uplands, in the heart of the riding I've had the honor of representing for almost 22 years now. I wanted to say hello to Derek Chung, the CEO of Defence Construction Canada, Maureen Miller, the Chair of the Board, Paolo Zuro, the CEO of the Canadian Forces Housing Agency. Thank you for joining us. I also want to begin this morning with something that's pretty important, which is the acknowledgement that today is the 4th anniversary of Russia's illegal and unjustified full-scale invasion of Ukraine. For 1,460 days, Ukrainians have tirelessly defended their country, their people, and their way of life. They've witnessed their homes and their cities destroyed. They have lost loved ones in the violence. They've seen their children abducted. And many have been forced to leave their country and the lives that they built. Those who remain in Ukraine continue enduring relentless strikes, as we saw again last night, on civilian and energy infrastructure, while also facing one of the coldest winters in recent years. Through all of this, Ukrainians have shown unwavering strength, courage, and resilience. It's simply remarkable. They're fighting not just for their own future, but for the values we hold dear in Canada: sovereignty, security, and human rights. C'est pourquoi le Canada se tiendra toujours aux côtés de l'Ukraine. Nous sommes solidaires de leur quête d'une paix durable pour leur pays et leur population. Ukraine is a nation with a proud and enduring history. And here at Uplands, we're reminded that Canada, too, has a very proud military history. From its beginnings here as a civilian airfield in 1919, to its role as a vital training ground for RCAF and Allied pilots, during the Second World War, to the home it is today for Canadian Armed Forces units and the organizations that support them. Uplands has been woven into the fabric of our country's military story for more than a century. It's also the home to countless military members and their families. Over the years, I've had the privilege of meeting CAF members who live here and across Canada. They serve with pride, unwavering dedication. They defend our people, our sovereignty, and our way of life. It's an extraordinary responsibility, and they discharge it with humility and with honor. You can see it in their faces when they talk about their work. They love serving their country, this country. They love helping others. They love being part of something larger than themselves. But they also share the challenges that come with that service. time away from loved ones, frequent moves, being on call day and night. When you're a member of the Canadian Armed Forces, you don't go on strike. These are not small sacrifices. They are the quiet burdens carried by the people who keep this country safe and by the families who stand with them. We have a responsibility, all of us in this caucus, all members of the Cabinet, and I dare say all members of Parliament would agree, we have a responsibility to support them fully, consistently, and at every step of the way. That means ensuring they have access to safe, modern, and affordable housing, not as a luxury, but as a foundation on which to build. It's a foundation for their families, their well-being, and their ability to serve Canada with confidence. So today, I'm pleased to announce the launch of Phase 2 of the Department of National Defence's National Housing Construction Program. This is a big day on the housing front. Il s'agit d'une avancée majeure dans l'expansion du logement militaire, des milliers de nouvelles unités résidentielles étant construites à l'échelle du Canada. Together, Phases 1 and 2 will add up to 7,500 new residential housing units, mainly 1- and 2-bedroom apartment buildings in 25 locations across the country. It's a big day. Phase 2 of the construction builds on the great momentum from Phase 1, announced in January of 2025, which is already delivering more than 800 new residential units at 9 priority locations, well underway. As part of Phase 2, up to 280 new units will be built at Canadian Forces Support Group, Ottawa, Gatineau. 160 of these units will be built right here at the Uplands site, and additional housing at other locations are now being explored. Here's a snapshot examples of other locations across the country that will see a significant increase. Valcartier, Petawawa, and Edmonton will get more than 1,000 new housing units. Kingston will get more than 900 housing units. And Gagetown will get more than 500 housing units. This is the largest single investment in housing in this country, in the military, in 80 years. Nous procédons de manière très stratégique, construisant là où la demande de logement est la plus forte, là où nos militaires en ont le plus besoin. Nous consacrons davantage de ressources pour répondre aux besoins. Par exemple, la politique de défense du Canada, notre Nord fort et libre, prévoit 1,4 milliard de dollars supplémentaires sur 20 ans pour moderniser le logement des membres des FAC et de leurs familles. But we know that we not only need more housing for military members, we need to deliver that housing faster and more efficiently. That's why Defence Construction Canada, which procures and manages defence infrastructure projects, is engaging with industry very early, unusually early, informing them of upcoming construction opportunities, which are valued at approximately $3.74 billion. Phase 2 will also accelerate delivery by constructing high-density mid-rise apartment buildings, using existing design work where possible, and coordinating closely with Build Canada Homes and other partners to be more efficient in how we work. The Department of National Defence isn't just responsible for defending our country. It's also one of the government's largest residential landlords, one of the government's largest landowners, housing thousands of Canadian Armed Forces members and their families across this country. Today's announcement is a win for the Canadian Armed Forces members, of course, and the communities they serve, but it's also a win for Canadians. And here's how. It will relieve pressure on local housing markets and ensure that CAF members and their families have access to the modern, affordable homes they deserve. And here's a real kicker. It will generate a lot of high-quality jobs for tradespeople, engineers, architects, HVAC technicians, sheet metal workers, drywall, pipe fitters, electricians, welders, framers, roofers, painters, site supervisors, logistics specialists, manufacturing workers, to name but a few. This will have a major impact on strengthening local economies in every region where these investments land. It's also going to boost demand for Canadian-made materials and systems, including Canadian steel, lumber, concrete, advanced heating, ventilation and air conditioning systems, ductwork, mechanical equipment, electrical components, energy-efficient building technologies that power and protect today's infrastructure. From fabrication shops, none too small, to on-site installation crews, none too large, this investment will activate the full construction and mechanical supply chain. As we advance this phase of the program, we're committed to exceeding our target as well of directing at least 5% of contracting value to Indigenous businesses, creating meaningful economic opportunities for First Nations, Métis, and Inuit communities across the country. Et lorsqu'il était plus logique d'acheter des logements pour les membres des CAF plutôt que d'en construire, c'est que nous avons fait, notamment en acquérant récemment les immeubles d'appartements à Victoria et Comox en Colombie-Britannique. Alors que la phase 2 s'amorce, l'Agence du logement des Forces canadiennes continuera d'explorer la possibilité de faire l'achat d'unités existantes pour loger rapidement et efficacement les membres des FAC et leurs familles. We will continue to procure, we will continue to buy apartment buildings, condo buildings, as we did recently in British Columbia, to help alleviate the need for our housing. Today's announcement is also about more than building just new housing. It's about strengthening the readiness of the Canadian Armed Forces. We need to make sure that our members have the modern infrastructure they need to rest, to recharge, and to prepare for the missions we're asking of them. When our people have stability at home, this is something I've heard on 13 bases now, in town halls where I've spoken to over 10,000 members of the forces. When they have stability at home, they are better equipped to meet the security challenges of today and the ones we know are coming tomorrow. This investment is going to help us attract and retain the skilled Canadians we need in uniform, the people who keep our country safe. And the good news is applications are up 13% to join the Canadian Armed Forces in the last 8 months. En somme, nous avons besoin des bonnes personnes ayant les compétences et la formation nécessaires pour faire profiter les forces armées de leur expertise. La sécurité du Canada repose sur leurs épaules et nous apportons des changements pour que ceux et celles qui souhaitent servir puissent se bâtir une carrière enrichissante et durable. And finally, today's announcement is all about community. Our bases are more than just workplaces. They're neighborhoods. They're places where members access essential services, raise their families, get the care and support they need, and build a sense of belonging. Living alongside others who understand the realities of military life, which is a special life, creates bonds that are irreplaceable. Those connections strengthen our people and, in turn, strengthen our armed forces. Members of the Canadian Armed Forces, let me say it again, deserve safe, modern, and affordable housing. They deserve the peace of mind that comes from knowing they have a stable place to call home, no matter where duty takes them. L'annonce d'aujourd'hui représente une avancée majeure pour l'offre de logement à nos militaires. Nous pourrons ainsi mieux répondre aux besoins actuels et futurs des Forces armées canadiennes. We will always stand with the people. We will always stand with the people and the families who serve this country. We will make sure they have the tools, make sure they have the resources and the infrastructure they need, not just to do their jobs, but to thrive at those jobs. That's our collective responsibility. That is our collective commitment. And we will, together as Canadians, honor it. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
All right, test. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Merci à tous. We're going to do 10 minutes of questions. One question, one follow-up each. I'll walk around with the mic. You can raise your hand. And please state your name and outlet. First one.
Hi, Minister. I'm Emily Hawes. I work for the Globe and Mail.
Good morning, Emily.
Morning. How much is this announcement costing?
The booked money at this stage is $3.5 billion.
Okay.
Pardon? for phase 2.
Thank you. And when will these houses actually, like when will all the houses be delivered by?
They will be sequential. We'll be working with Defence Construction Canada and the Housing Agency, who know this is a priority. We've already got spades in the ground, shovels in the ground across the country. I'll give you an example. Just some time ago, our team came and said there was a building available in Esquimalt. Would we be able to bid on such a building? It's not a traditional activity at D&D and CAF to buy such buildings. The building was in receivership. We moved quickly. And from the day we made an offer to purchase that building, roughly 37 units, if I recall, from the day we made the offer until the day we closed and took possession of that building was exactly 5 weeks. We're moving at a pace and a speed never seen before. And so our folks at DCC know they have to move quickly, and they are moving quickly. But we've got construction underway across the country now.
Okay, but is this going to be, like, are these 7,500 units, are they going to be built or acquired within a year, 2 years? Like, how long?
No, it's going to take several years to get all of these built. But the procurement is going quickly. The reaching out to early discussions with our contractors is happening abnormally quickly. So what I would say is stand by.
Thank you.
Morning, Minister. Nick Murray with the Canadian Press. Perhaps I missed it, but in the list of communities and that you listed, I didn't hear any from the north. And so my question is, with regards to the housing requirements that are going to be needed for the Northern Operational Support Hubs, I'm wondering if you have an update for how those are going and perhaps when we could see the Operational Support Hubs will be operational.
We'll have a lot more to say about the NOSH construction and expansion and plans in due course. Those plans are well underway, as well as a full assessment of Arctic needs. You can imagine we're marrying not only our defense requirements, operational requirements, with our major projects office priorities, with the priorities of the Inuit, with the priorities of different governments. So these things are being integrated, and we'll have a lot more to say about that, but it does imply more housing in our NOSH locations.
And on another topic, I'm wondering if you have a timeline for when we could expect the awarding of the submarine contract, and also would the promise of an auto plant in Canada give incentive or give an advantage to one bid over another?
I can't comment on the merits of one bid over another. What I can say and point out for Canadians is when we began the procurement for the submarine project, we were informed that the typical timeline would take about 3 years to down select from 5 producers of submarines to 2. We insisted that that be accomplished in less than 6 months, and it was, which is why we now have 2 bidders. And that bid process is continuing. It is being driven by the DIA under Mr. Guzman, the new president and CEO of that organization. He is doing his job with his team to obviously get as many industrial benefits as possible for the country. Obviously looking at questions like interoperability of our subfleet, their reach. It is a conventional fleet, under ice fleet. All the technical specifications have been imparted to both bidders. They're obviously sharpening their pencils, and they'll come forward with their submissions. Thank you.
David Aiken, Global News. Good
Morning, David.
Good morning, Minister, MPs. I just wanted to pick up on that comment you made that recruitment was up, applications were up 13%. I wonder if you could give me an indication of why you think that's so. Is 13% good enough in terms of trying to bring more people into the forces?
13% is 13% more than it was a year ago. That's pretty good. I think recruitment is up. I think applications are up because Canadians want to serve. The Canadians are very, I think they're very engaged in the project called Canada right now. I think they want to make sure that Canada remains a secure and sovereign country. I think they're hearing about the incredible work that the women and men of the Canadian Armed Forces actually perform. And it is beyond putting out fires or airlifting people out of harm's way or helping to lay sandbags or dropping aid, for example, above Gaza. They see those things, but they're beginning to recognize the other incredible things that our Canadian Armed Forces do, like the 3,000 members of our forces in our forward operating location in Latvia, for example. So I think there's an interest now, much more profound interest in the opportunities inherent in the forces. Obviously, we hope that the significant pay raise that we provided, which was also done at a speed unprecedented, we're hoping that that was also a factor in people saying, well, we're looking after our members, and salaries are also something that factor into their choice.
One of the other issues in terms of getting people into the forces was the speed or the delay between I apply to I'm accepted, that was taking too long. People were abandoning the process. Have you taken steps to shorten that gap from application to acceptance?
There is a review ongoing now in terms of the full application process. An app was created. A number of amendments were made, medical and otherwise, to allow more Canadians to apply. And we hope that this is going to lead to the numbers that we need as we continue to grow the forces.
Any other questions? Last call? All right, this concludes it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.